Good morning, YouTube. This is Jason. I know I haven't put out a video for a while. I apologize for that. I know I have a bunch of comments or people send me messages, put out a video. So we are doing a video on this 2008 Suburban with the 5.3. I just changed the oil. I know you guys have seen a million videos on oil, getting the oil changed, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But what I am trying to figure out, what I'm wondering is I've done an oil change on this thing 6 different times now. This is number 6. And I have no clue what's going on with this thing because it has quite a bit of miles on it. But what happens is I get about, well, I've kept track. It's been between 3,300 and 3,600 miles on an oil change. And according to the gauge, I still have 50 to 60% oil life left, which I like to change my oil every 3,000 miles, so that's not a real big deal to me. But what I'm seeing is once I get about 3,500 miles, give or take a few hundred miles, I'm losing oil pressure, and it goes down to 5-10. The PSI, the light comes on, tells me to shut the engine off, pull over. I can pull it over, shut it off for a minute, start it back up, and it's good to go. And I have no clue what's going on. I thought oil, you know, they recommend that you change your oil every 3,000 miles, but I thought that was just a recommendation. The car says I still have another 50-60% or 40-50% that I can drive on it before I change the oil, but I'm losing oil pressure. So I just did an oil change, and if we do a start up here and watch this gauge, right after the oil change, it'll focus here. I go right back up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it goes right back up to, you know, 50 psi, and then it has 50-60 psi. Before I did this oil change, it was sitting at 20 psi, and then as I would drive it, it would go up to almost 40, and then as I would slow down, it would drop down to 10 or 5, and then, like, my oil's losing viscosity. The oil that I'm using, I know everybody's gonna want to know that, and yeah, I have a service suspension line. I had a wire, one of my wires on my shocks broke, my struts up front, so I just have to fix it. I don't know what happened, it pulled out, so we'll get it fixed. But the oil I've been using is 5W30 synthetic is all I'll use in it. I've used multiple different brands. I mean, that's what it suggests on the cap is 530. I use this synthetic with a good oil filter, but I have plenty of, I'll be able to go another 3,500 miles, and then I'm losing oil pressure. When I first bought it, I was real worried about it. I didn't know it had this issue, and I took it over to the dealer and wanted them to diagnose it, and they said the only thing we can do is put a new motor in it. $7,000. And I'm not throwing a $7,000 motor in it. You know, I can find a cheaper motor, but I don't know what's going on. I read online, and a lot of people said that your pickup tube, there's an O-ring on it, it might be cracked. The dealer said that all the ball bearings and all the bearings and everything in your camshaft bearings and crank bearings, everything are shot. So I need a new motor or a full rebuild. I'm not quite 100% sure what to do. I know right now I've just been driving it for the last 6 oil changes, 3,500 miles, and then I changed the oil. I've usually do it right at 3,000, but I've kind of been wanting to test to see if this has a pattern before I made a video or before I changed anything. I just wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on and that there's a pattern. It pulls strong, runs strong, everything is good on it. You know, it runs real strong. It'll focus in. Sounds good, runs good, everything's good on it. This is what the oil I put in it today was a full synthetic, high mileage 530. So I don't know if the oil is breaking down at just over 3,000 and it's getting too thin and then it can't build pressure, or if it's just, I'm not quite sure what's going on. If I throw a new motor in it, I do want to try to get a 6.2 in it. I don't know if anybody's done that or knows what it would take to do that. This thing's having a hard time focusing here, sorry about that, but so I just want to make a quick video here and go over a few things. This thing runs perfect all the time until I hit about 3,500 miles on an oil change, and then I gotta change the oil, or I have no oil pressure. It's never, even when I lose oil pressure, it doesn't tick. I don't hear the lifters. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. The only thing I've replaced is the oil pressure sending unit, the sensor, oil pressure sensor on the back of the motor. And then changed the oil and filter. But it seems like it's been a reoccurring thing. So, I mean, if anybody knows if there's something I can do or should do, or if I should just put a bigger motor in, 6.0 or 6.2. I wanted a little bit more power. But yeah, I would just want to send this video, and I hope everybody, you probably heard that engine noise, probably couldn't hear me, but yeah, comment if you have any questions or comments or what we can do. Yeah, have a good day. See ya.